Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've got Darren Little here with the MLM Superheroes, and we are live right now on an international broadcast, guys. I feel like I'm literally up in heaven here. I mean, this is amazing. Guys, this is really the power of the internet and really being able to live a life of complete and total freedom. I was doing a webinar here yesterday, and I was talking about how to use the internet to create what I call leverage. Leverage. When you're having an arm wrestle with somebody, and then you get to a certain point. Once you're at that breaking point, whomp, it's down, right? You can leverage and win that arm wrestle. Guys, in the game of life, it's very, very similar to that. And once you understand this, it can completely and totally change your life forever. So what I want to explain to you today is really the difference between what I call linear income, which is you're either working an hourly rate and you're trading time for money. Maybe you're working one job, two job, maybe even three job, but at some point in time you got to sleep, right? So it can be a little bit of a challenge because the human body has to get some rest. So you can be in a little bit of a bind there if you're already working two jobs, but you don't have enough income coming in to be, have a half decent lifestyle. The challenge with that type of a model, guys, is if you stop working, then you stop making income. Now, the other type of linear income, guys, is called a salary. Now, I'll tell you what's wrong with the salary, because I've been in that situation in senior level management before where, you start off, contracting yourself out. You think it's for 5 days a week, right? You think. So, as a senior executive, I was vice president of marketing for a public company. And granted, I was making half decent money. I was making $10,000 a month in income. But guys, when I tell you that I had no life, I had no life. I'm talking about I literally sold my soul to that corporation. I'm not kidding. I had to be at work at 5:30 a.m. and the markets opened at 6. I had to handle the investor relations department until 1, and that's when my real job started. Then I had to actually go get the sales and marketing contracts, out and about and wherever I was at, to close those deals, bring them back into the company, and then after that was done, I had to write the press releases to go out the following morning, which, guys, in a lot of cases, guess what that meant? That meant staying up all night and going back and forth and emailing back and forth with the CEO until I could get the press release done for the following morning. So, when you're in a situation of being in corporate like that, not only is it very highly stressful, guys, but you literally are giving up your entire life. And I really mean that. I mean, like, weekends, consider them gone. Evenings, consider them gone. You've literally sold your soul to the corporation, and that's where I was, right? So, yesterday I was doing this hangout on freedom, on freedom, guys, to not have to be like attached to a ball and chain. You know what I mean? Like that feeling like you can't ever get away. You can't ever escape. You've got your mortgage and you've got your car payments and your insurance and your bills and all the stuff and credit card debt as it starts weighing you down like this, and there's no way out. There's no way out, and the majority of families that are out there, they don't know what to do. What are they going to do? They hate their job. They can't stand the people that they work with, but they live in fear because they don't have anything to supplement or replace their existing income to be able to give them freedom. So there I was yesterday, and I was in a this one of my favorite places called the Night and Day Restaurant. Okay, And I did about an hour and a half webinar, guys, where I just gave a ridiculous amount of value content, you know, how to generate an unlimited number of leads using Facebook, how to use press releases to drive traffic, you know, how to connect with people so that you never ever get rejected ever again in your networking business. And I teach these strategies, guys, coming from real business building, building companies, raising money, doing sponsorship deals, doing joint venture contracts. You know, so I come from the corporate world where, you know, I mean, I'm teaching the people on my team the exact same strategies that I use to build real companies. Now, guys, when you talk about freedom, okay, this is I want to just show this to you, okay, because I'm downtown Vancouver, and I want to give you an idea of what's possible here. What's possible? Let me just see what I've got here. Okay, so here I am right now. I'm downtown, and you can see here that, you know, we're having some problems here with my Mac. Okay, so here we are right now. We're downtown Vancouver. We're about 15 stories up on a tower. You can see here, beautiful. It's overlooking the water. You know, we're kind of in the midst of downtown Vancouver. And guys, this is really what I call freedom. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I can go to bed whenever I feel tired. I can get up whenever I feel rested. And here I am. It's kind of the end of the work day for most people. It's 10 to 5. And I can pretty much do whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. And I know that there's income coming in. There's cash flow coming in. So while I'm here, and I want you guys just to think about this for a minute, and to start to think about how I think as an entrepreneur. Because what I do, guys, is the best case scenario. Okay, let's forget about all the rest of the people out there in the world. Let's just talk about you. Wouldn't it be amazing if there was some new special DNA cloning device, okay, some special DNA cloning device from the future that you found out about? Now think about that. What would happen to you? What would happen to your lifestyle if you had that secret sauce and you went to a laboratory and they took some, you know, I don't know, like maybe some scraping or something from the inside of your mouth or some saliva or something like that, and they sent it to the lab. And then, you know, a certain amount of time went by, and all of a sudden you got to pick how many of you were cloned. Okay, you could have, you know, a dozen, or you could have, you know, 50 or 100. You could have 1,000 of you cloned. Guys, that's the internet. Okay, so when I think about the internet, that's how my mind thinks, okay, as an entrepreneur. That's how I think, okay? So what I want to be able to do is this, is coming from marketing, coming from target marketing. I understand this, guys. In this industry, 97% of all the people that are in the industry fail. 97%. That is a massive market, right? So what I think to myself is this. Number one, what are all the problems that they're currently having, right? Like if I was to interview, say, I don't know, 20, 30 people and just ask them, I mean, the best place to find that answer would be from the people that are in the industry. So if I went to them and said, you know, are you making any money in your business? And they said, no, I'm not. Well, what have been your biggest challenges? What are your stumbling blocks that you're coming up against? Now imagine this. Imagine if I made this list all the way down of every problem that all of these people are having. Out of all those people, do you know what I would find out, guys? I would find out that almost all of them were having the exact same problems. How about that? Almost every single person would be having very, very similar type of problems, like, you know, fear of rejection, or they've been being rejected massively, you know, by their friends and family. You know, they've got no way to generate more contacts. You know, maybe they don't understand how to talk to a person or how to close people. Maybe they don't have any real true value that they can provide as a leader. Do you know that as I talk to the people, I find very, very similar situations? Now, what if, guys? What if? What if you could provide a bunch of solutions to those people's problems, and then clone yourself and have 1,000 of you all over the internet telling your story on how you can help all those people that are out there to solve their problem? Now think about this, guys. I want you to think about this. Think like an entrepreneur, because this is how I think, guys. This is how my brain thinks. And I was very fortunate over the course of my career that I had some amazing mentors. And by the time I hit 35 years old, guys, I made my first $1 million. And the principles that I learned, the principles that I teach, that's what now I teach my students. Okay, so that's why people can implement some of these strategies in their very first 30 days, guys. Have you ever heard of a brand new newbie, never been in the industry before, and in 30 days they're able to go full-time? Are you for real? How's that possible? What am I doing differently than other people aren't doing? What am I doing so differently that I can take a brand new person? They don't have any experience at all in networking. They've never had any success, never even been in the industry, and 30 days later, they've got enough income that they can leave their job and go full-time. Think about that, guys. It's got to be something. It's got to be something different. So what I will tell you, first of all, about networking in general, okay, is that there's really only two types of people that get involved in networking in the first place. They're either in a state of transition, right? So they've been downsized, their corporate cutbacks, their hours have been cut back. Something has happened to shift them onto a new path. Okay, so that's transitionary stage. Okay, they could be in a situation where they've just moved. They could be in a situation where they've just got a divorce. They could be in a situation where they're with another network marketing company, and that company has slashed their marketing plan, and they've lost, you know, 50% of their income off the top, right? And during that time, and now they're searching, because people, just so you know, people don't like change. So the company changes their marketing plan, and they say they're enhancing the marketing plan. And what happens is a lot of those top income earners, right, they cut the cream off the top. So what ends up happening is that they're pissed off. They're looking for a company that they can trust. Now they don't trust the management team anymore, right? Because the management team, in most cases, never even came to them to tell them that they were going to make any changes. And all of a sudden, they go to get their paycheck, and they're like, what? You know, they were making 15 grand a month, and all of a sudden, what? What happened here? $7,500? What the heck? Right? So now they're pissed off. They feel like they've been ripped off. And they have, actually. They've really been ripped off. So they're looking for stability. They're looking for a management team that they can trust. Okay? The other type of person is a person that's at what's called a breaking point. So they're in either a fixed income, a salary, and the boss keeps on saying, well, can you just do this after work? Can you just finish this up over the weekend? You know, we just got to get that done for Monday. But listen, the whole company's counting on you. You know, they put guilt on you to get you to do more. And why do they do that? Because they know that if you don't do it, you're going to be fearful that you could potentially be fired, right? So they take advantage of those people. They get you to work late, after hours. You didn't contract for that. They get you to work overtime on weekends. You didn't contract for that. That wasn't part of the game plan when you started. Your deal was 5 days a week during these hours for whatever the amount of money that it is, 120, 150, 110, 80, whatever your level is, a couple hundred, whatever your level is in your management position, but you didn't contract for all the other stuff. And at some point in time, people literally, guys, they reach a breaking point. Or they're working 2 jobs and their kids get sick, right? There's nobody, what are they going to do now? They're in a position, they got to go to work, their kids are sick right now, they've reached a breaking point because they're not even making enough money to be able to pay for their lifestyle and all their bills, right? So those are the 2 main types. Now, as a networker, guys, this is what people don't get about networking. They have no idea what networking even is. I learned about networking when I was in my mid-20s from a guy that was a multimillionaire at networking. And he said, Darren, rule number 1, I don't want you talking about our company. Number 1 rule. Okay. Now I was like, how's that going to work? So I just dropped $4,000 to be an affiliate of your company. But you don't want me talking about the company. Yep, that's right. Rule number 2, he says, Darren, I don't want you talking about our products. Huh? How's that going to work? So are you telling me that you want me to represent this company, but you don't want me talking about the company, and you don't want me talking about the products? Yep, that's right. Guys, you know what I thought? I'll tell you what I thought. I thought, like, are we doing some sort of an illegal thing here? Like, I mean, are we not allowed to tell anybody here? Like, is this some sort of illegal thing that we're doing here, guys? Or is it on the hush-hush? We're not supposed to, like, how are we supposed to sell that? How are we supposed to, did they get, like, approval and stuff from the government? Like, is there some underground thing here that I don't know about? So here's what I found out, guys, because I was really confused at this point in time. So I said, well, what exactly am I going to talk about if I'm not talking about the company and I'm not talking about the products? He said, Darren, if you want to make big money in this industry, you want to be talking about them. Okay, let me understand this then. So what you're telling me is you think I'm going to sell those products over there by talking about them. Are you for real? How the heck is that going to work? Now, guys, I had to really go through what's called a paradigm shift, where I looked at the reality differently. Because here's what he told me. He said, Darren, here's what you got to understand about business. People typically will do business with people that they know, like, and trust. They will also do business with people that they're either like or that they aspire to be like. Those 5 things. Know, like, trust. They're either like you or they aspire to be like you. Now think about this, guys. So what he told me was that if you can get 3 things in common with a person in 5 minutes, 3 things, 5 minutes, they like you. How about that? And guess what happened, guys? Lo and behold, as I started to connect with people and ask them questions about them and find things in common with them, they were magnetically pulled to me to want to do business with me. And all I needed to do was something, guys, that a lot of people can't do, especially salespeople, was to get out of the way. Because that's what most salespeople can't do. Unfortunately. Why? Ego. That's why. Because they got to know it all, do it all, say it all, be it all, explain it all, and they're not duplicatable. So here's what I will tell you. When somebody asks me about, my business or whatever it is that I do, or Darren, I heard you're with this company, Explocial, tell me more about the company. I go, you know what, that is a really good question. But tell me a little bit more about you and where you're currently at right now on your life path, and what's your vision. Talk to me about your vision. And then we can find out whether or not Explocial is even the right fit for you. So what am I doing, guys? I'm turning the attention back onto them, which is what my mentor taught me to do. He said, it's not about the company, Darren. It's not about the products. It's not about the comp plan. It's all about their dream. It's all about their vision. It's all about where they're at and where they want to go, and how emotionally connected are they to getting it. That's the critical factor, guys. That's how you're going to get leverage on a person, right? Now, how do you do that? You do that by asking questions, right? So what I do when I'm, talking to people, guys, like, I mean, look at this. Here I am right now. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm literally on the top of a rooftop deck here. I mean, you can see this. It's absolutely spectacular. I'm in downtown Vancouver. This is going to be, by the way, guys, the new location for our Explocial venue. I mean, look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there's a few boardrooms here. We're going to start here. I might even consider doing like a wine and cheese type of event. I'm going to figure out a couple things here. And we've got the summertime coming, which is going to be really cool. I might even be able to do something where I've got television screens at both sides or something. I don't know. It is such a cool place. I'm just so excited about this location right now to be able to do some venues here. It's just absolutely beautiful. But anyway, so here I am, where most people would be getting off work and going in and fighting traffic, okay? Now, instead, here's me doing this broadcast on Google. Now, here's one of the things that I don't think a lot of people really understand here, guys, because they don't really, they don't really understand why do I want to do these things. Do you know that if there's nobody here, I'm going to talk to the world? How about that? What if there was nobody here on the panel right now, guys? Nobody, just me, talking to my computer screen. How about that? Giving value to the world, as much value as I can, from my heart, okay? With no strings attached. I'm not trying to sell anybody here on anything, guys. I'm not trying to sell anything. What I am trying to do, though, is to have you to open up your mind like a parachute, right? My mentor taught me, he said, Darren, you know what? If you can open up your mind like a parachute, that's when it works the best. Because if it's closed, you're in deep doo-doo, right? So, what I found, guys, is that because of the fact that I was coachable, because of the fact that I was open to listen to my mentor. Now keep in mind, I came from pitching features and benefits. Here's why you need to get involved with my company. Here's why our products are so great. Our antioxidants, and I feel so great. And lock your spot! Lock your spot! Right, guys? That's not networking. And I tell you, when I see people post this on the internet, like I literally just start cracking up. Especially when I get them sent in my email. I just send them back with a big LOL. You have no idea what networking even is. Thanks, but no thanks. Later. So what I will tell you is that once you can understand what networking even is, and beyond that, what is target marketing? What is target marketing? Okay? So let's first of all talk about networking. What is networking? There's two types of networking that I can do, guys. Like two major types, okay? The first thing that I can do is I can connect with you, and I can find out what's going on in your life, listen, and then you say, what about you? I don't talk business, and this is the thing that people don't get. It's called business etiquette. You have to get to this stage of what I call the warm and fuzzy. Okay, the warm and fuzzy. If you don't do that, guys, you will fail in network marketing. You will fail in business. You will never be senior level executive management team. You will definitely never become a millionaire, and certainly not a multimillionaire or higher. That I can guarantee you. So until you start to get good at this, forget about the rest, because it isn't going to happen, right? So you better get good at this part before anything else is going to happen. And that's being able to break the ice, change somebody's state, get them to go from here to here. Now, if you can do this, if you can break somebody's pattern or change their state, guess what happens? They totally go vulnerable. They totally take off their mask. They stop trying to pretend and sugarcoat their reality, because what they're telling you in the beginning is all BS. Because they're trying to make it seem like it's better than it is. Why is that? Ego, guys. Ego. They want you to believe that they're better in their reality when their home's really in foreclosure, their car's really being repoed, and they're in financial dire straits. But they're not going to tell you that in the beginning. When are they going to tell you that? They're going to tell you that after this happens. Not until. They will not tell you the truth until you connect. Now, how are you going to connect? To connect people by finding things in common with them. That's how people, identify other people that are similar. Okay, so if I'm out and about and I'm just, doing my regular activity, I want to ask questions so that I can find similarities. And those typically are about their family, about their occupation, what do they like to do for fun or recreation, and what motivates them, what are they passionate about these days, right? Those are the 4 key areas. And from those, they can split off, guys. I mean, I can ask them, are they married? I can ask them, do they have children? I can ask them, what's their nationality? I can ask them, how long have they lived here? I can ask them, is their family from here, right? So I can ask certain things. Then I can go down further than that even. If they tell me they've got kids, I can ask what type of sports activities. If they're boys, I can ask if the girls are in ballet or any type. Maybe they play musical instruments. So I can dig down deeper to get more interest in the person. Now, here's what I will tell you when you do high-level business, guys. Do you know the guy that you're closing that $10 million contract with is more impressed that you remember that his son's name is Tommy and that they had a Little League game and they were playing the, I don't know, the Minnesota Reds or whatever the little mini ball game team was, and you asked whether or not his team won? Do you realize that has way more significance in you closing that $10 million deal than anything else? Why? Because there's tons of people that you can do business with, guys. Tons. There's tons and tons of people in the world. Why do some people succeed more than other people? Here's an example, okay? Here's an example. How could this possibly be that I could put on an event, the very first event that I did, me and my business partner did a speaking deal, was kind of like a, personal development type of speaking seminar. And for that one single event, we had 28 different corporate sponsors. And one of them was Club Med, and they sent us to Club Med for free. Like, I'm not talking about little tiny things here. I'm talking about significant, bonuses that was provided by these companies. Like one clothing shop here in Vancouver, they fully clothed us with our outfits, right? So how can that, do you know that you can, if you learn how to do these things in, you know, and understand value and value for value and exchanging value for value, right? You can do situations where, you know, like I've rolled out events before where I don't pay for the hotel, guys. I don't pay for the hotel. They give me the hotel for free. What? Why? How can I possibly pull that off? What I do, because I understand marketing, I understand value, and I understand negotiating. Right? Value. I got value. You got value. Well, maybe we can trade some value for some value. Right? It's almost like contra. Right? So what I do is this. I come up with a strategy that has a certain amount of value attached to it. But that value is going to be beneficial to me just from a promotional standpoint, but it's also going to be beneficial to the hotel where I'm going to do my venue at. Okay? So let's say that I've got, I don't know, 30 promoters in a specific localized area, and I'm going to print up X amount of tickets. There's going to be X amount of postcards done. There's going to be X amount of posters that get allocated at heavy traffic places, coffee shops and places around the town. There's going to be, you know, maybe there's a flyer campaign or something. Whatever. There's a concentrated, focused campaign that I put together, right? And everything has a certain amount of value that's attached to it. You know, the tickets, their hotel name on the tickets has this value, and we're doing X amount of cards that are going to be handed out to people at networking events. It's got this amount of value, and the flyer thing has got this amount of value, and the poster is going to be in these locations, and it's going to have this amount of value. And then what I do is I say, you know, hey guys, let me ask you a question. What day of the week here is really slow for you, you know, in your lounge and your restaurants and stuff? And they might say, oh, like Monday nights it's pretty much a ghost town in here, and pretty much like, you know, here, pin drop. Well, would you be okay if I brought you like a ridiculous amount of new business? Would you be okay with that? And they go, sure, that would be awesome. Okay, here's what I need for you to do on your side for me, okay? And then I'll show you what I'm going to do for you, okay? So what I need you to do is I need you to print up some sort of, you know, 2-for-1 Appy special or Appy and drink special or something like that, something that I can give away as value to my people, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive a huge amount of traffic and awareness to your place on your slow nights. But what I also need from you, because I'm going to do a ridiculous amount of publicity and promotion, like I'm going to promote you on Facebook, right? Now let's say that an average person has 300 friends, as an example. Okay, if they're marketers, they probably have between 1,000 and 5,000. So I take that number and I multiply it by my number of promoters. Now I got awareness, distribution of your brand, right? So that's one form of value. Distribution, right? Now I've got a press release campaign. Distribution, right, of awareness of this hotel. Then I've got my tickets. Boom, awareness campaign. Then I've got my 4x6 postcard things that get handed out from people's briefcases about our special event. This is when I'm talking about packing a hotel room, guys, with like 200 people, right? And then I've got my, you know, maybe my flyer campaign. Then I've got my posters down at the coffee shops. Every single one of these has a certain amount of tallied up value. Why? Because I'm going to put their logo on all the promotional materials to give them brand awareness. Brand awareness. And I'm going to specifically tell people that before and after the event, they get 2-for-1 appetizers. So if they come down early, they get 2-for-1 appetizers. If they stay late after the venue, they get 2-for-1 appetizers, and maybe there's some drink special on. Guys, do you realize as a marketer or as a promoter, if you pull off something like that, you literally walk on water, right, in your local area? Because now you're providing business to businesses, right? And once you do this and you feel comfortable with it, like it's really no big deal. You're going to have your certain amount of promoters, you're going to have a certain awareness campaign that goes out, but all the stuff that the hotel has, and you might save, guys, $500, $700, $1,200 for the room as your room starts to get larger and larger. Guess what, though? You got more promoters with your campaign promoting and bringing awareness to this location. And if you do a deal right like this and you cut it, you already tell them how this thing's going to grow exponentially, and you lock in a deal. You lock in a deal. So once the deal's done and you say you're going to do this and they're going to do that, and you handle your side, guess what happens? Now you start doing some big events, guys, where you've got 200, 300, 400 people, and the room costs are covered. Called corporate sponsorship. Now, I would never tell a person that is like a brand new newbie. They've got no senior level of management experience or anything. They've never done, corporate meetings or anything. I wouldn't ever send anybody out there like that to do something like that. But if somebody is, higher level, they're senior level management, or they've run companies and corporations, those type of deals are very easy to pull off, especially when you are, they're dead. There's no business. There's no business to their hotel. There's no business to those meetings. So wouldn't it be better for that hotel to pack that hotel and get people in their lounge and get people in their restaurants on these certain times before and after your venue than to have no business anyway? Think about it. So you can do some cool stuff that way. Anyway, so I was talking, yesterday on this hangout, and I want to give you an idea, guys, about how to keep things really, really simple. Because this is really how I build every company that I do. This is how I raise millions of dollars. This is how I hire management teams. This is how I do joint venture deals, sponsorship deals. It all has to do with this, connecting. So I never ask for a favor before I've got this. I never ask you to do something, or I never ask if you can help me with something before I do this. If I don't have this part done, guys, I'm not talking about anything, right? If I don't have that connection, I don't talk about business. And I can't stress this enough to people that get into this industry, because they've never been taught about building relationships. Building relationships. And do you guys realize that first meeting that I had with my millionaire mentor that literally put me in this like total mind warp? I mean, can you imagine coming from pitching and closing people, features and benefits, dealing with those objections, right? That's where I came from. And here's my mentor on the other side of the table saying, rule number 1, you can't talk about the company. Rule number 2, you can't talk about the products. Guys, I was literally like in this fog. Like, I was in a mind warp. I felt like I was going through some Stargate because it didn't make any sense to me. How the heck could that even be possible? How could I talk about them and sell that? Are you for real? How's that ever going to work? But here's the interesting thing. Thank goodness for that, is all I can say. Because learning that in my mid-20s was what was responsible for me to make millions in my 30s. If I hadn't learned that information, guys, I probably wouldn't have been on the path that I was on. I would never have known how to connect with people and then ask them for something after that. I would have just been like, "Hey, man, you got that contact, right?" I mean, you'll literally get what's called pushback. This is called pushback, right? If you don't get this stuff down, guys. If you don't understand the different personality types, visual people are up high in a really high vibration up here. They talk really super fast, like with their hands. They're like this, da, da, da. Now, for me, I go between visual and auditory. Auditory is the next level down, right? And then the real relaxed one is the kinesthetic people. They got to get a really good feeling for things. So you've got to understand the distinction with people, with personalities. And you've got to be the mirror. If this is your person and they're in visual and you're kinesthetic, you better be getting a little bit more spicy right now, because if you're not, no connection. If they're in kinesthetic and you come in visual, right past. Zero connection, guys. So you have to be the chameleon that's going to come, bam, so that you can get this flow between the two people, right? It's this connection, the synergy. And you know what I'm talking about. I call it the warm and fuzzy. I call it the warm and fuzzy. When you get to this certain point when you're on a phone with somebody, and all of a sudden you just get all warm inside, right? You feel good, right? It's like, oh, that's what you want to get good at. Now, how can you get there? How do you get there? What I learned making so many calls to people and reaching out to people and having to be in situations, guys, and this is a true story. Imagine this. You've got of people that you have to contact, and they're all big money makers. Like, they're all millionaires, CEOs, vice president of this, blah, 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 blah. And there's a phone number that you can potentially reach them at. Now, if you can get a hold of those people and you can build rapport with them and you can get them to make a purchase, right, of a company stock or a private placement, what happens is you eat. If you don't, then you're starving. So you better get pretty darn good at it pretty darn fast. And you better find out who's been able to master it better than you and get lessons so that you can learn how to do it too. So here's what I learned, guys. Here's one of the things that I learned. Because a lot of times I would come up to the secretary, right? I'd come up to the secretary, right? So I have to first get past the secretary and then get to the guy who was the guy, right? So it was like the barricade. So I started to get a little bit creative. What I found is this, is if I could use a certain tone in my voice, I could actually get somebody to laugh like that. I could actually change their state just by the frequency of my voice coming in. Now, in the event that I had that certain tone, when I called the secretary, like I didn't hear her, Bob, right? She would put me right through because it sounded like I was one of his best friends. So I would clear past the secretary, get to the guy. Now I could change his state and get him to laugh, and he would move from having a guard up to a guard down, and now I could get in. Now I could get in, guys. I call it act. Can you please mute out if you just came on here, please?
Yeah, I just got on.
So, This is phenomenal if you get good at this. If you get good at being able to, A, understand personality types, B, understand how to be the chameleon, to connect, C, how to ask good questions, right, to start to pull data, right, and then be the mentor and the coach instead of the pitch person. If you are the pitch person in this industry, all you're going to get is what's called pushback, right? I'm not interested, right? When people call me and they start pitching me on their company, I'm not interested, pushback, right? So the interesting thing, guys, about this type of a business model is that I can either go through you or I can go to you. Now, what's going to be the determining factor if I go through you or to you? Here's what it is. It's all going to depend on what's happening in your life. Now, if you're in a peak, right, in euphoria, I'm going to go through you, right, because you're not in transition and you're not in breaking point. If you're in a valley, I'm going to go to you, and I'm going to help you solve your problem, right? So I'm just running out of power here, guys, and I'm out on the deck here, so we're probably going to have to cut this one short for now. So, guys, here's what I will tell you on. If I'll go till I can. It's probably going to peter out here in about 3 minutes. So here's what I will tell you. What I think about as a marketer is, number one, what are the problems that people are having in the industry overall? Number one, what problems are they having in the industry overall? Because I can use that as a lasso. I can lasso you like this, like I'm giving you a big hug. If I'm offering you value when you come, okay? So if you've got a problem and I've got a solution to your problem, boom, now I've got an audience, right? So that's one thing, is I want to find out what are the problems of the industry and what can I do as a leader to help people solve their problems. Okay, that's one. What can I do from something that I learn and then implement and then share to turn into a PowerPoint that creates value so that when I first meet somebody, I don't even have to pitch them on my business, guys. Do you realize that? I can get a great connection with them and say, hey, by the way, I thought this would really help you. And now I'm gone. Guess what happens? They watch that value after I'm gone and go, holy crap. If this guy's willing to give me this now before I'm even on his team, what is he willing to give me when I'm on his team? What kind of attention, what kind of support am I going to get when I'm actually on his team, right? So what I do is I put together a number of value-based webinars. Now, keep in mind, guys, there are PowerPoint presentations. So I'm going to talk to my screen. I'm going to greet the person. I'm going to say, you probably have these certain problems right now happening in your business. Well, you know what, guys? What I'm going to do here today is I'm going to show you how to not only solve your problems, but to totally take your life to the next level. Okay, we're going to go live right now. Bam. Right? All of a sudden, I'm live, and I'm giving them content that's really going to genuinely help them. Now, if your value that you start to provide to people is up here, and the value that they're currently getting from their current mentor and leadership and their upline is down here, guess what happens? Your phone starts ringing off the hook with incoming phone calls, guys. Leaders start calling you from all four corners of the world. Why? Because they can see that you provide value to the industry. Guys, here's what I'm going to tell you. This last year, I did what's called a marketing case study. And I put out a ridiculous amount of value to the marketplace. Okay? My Facebook friends hit the critical mass. at 5,000. And in addition to the 5,000, there was another 3,300 followers that started to follow the content. Now, I want you to think about this. I just kept on putting out content, value, 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 content, content, value, 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 content, content, value, value. And what happens is this. People tell other people. It's no different than networking, guys. It's no different than networking. So people tell other people that you've got good value. So what happens? They log in too. They follow too. So now you're going through people to their people and people's people, right, by just providing value. Okay, so I want you to think about that. So what are the problems? What value can you provide as a leader to help them solve their problems? How can you have something that's set up? And believe me, guys, I've got a designer that works for literally peanuts, pennies on the dollar. And, you know, it's really good quality, too. If you've seen our Platinum 200 logo and my MLM Superheroes logo with the Panther, and you've seen some of the graphics that are done, those are all done in India, okay? And in his world, I mean, the guy literally, I mean, he'll go to the end of the world for me because I've sent him so much business and referrals. He's completely changed his life. He lives a phenomenal life in India because he literally lives like a king because of the work that he gets from me and people that know me. And I put posts out on my wall and say, hey guys, if you need a graphic designer, this is the guy that I use, and he ends up getting huge amounts of work. So, but you can do a page, right? And then you just take your YouTube video, and then underneath it says, work with me personally, or work with me, or join me now. So instead of pitching yourself, instead of pitching your company, what are you doing? You're giving them value, and then after they've got the value, it says underneath there, you know, join me now in business, or partner with me now, or whatever, and that'll now then go into your regular business presentation. But you see how you can kind of scoot around the door a little bit there and give them value first versus pitching them and getting pushback, right? So that's one of the things that I use, guys. I have about 3 or 4 of those that I've set up, plus an ebook that I wrote. I wrote an ebook called MLM Affiliate Magic. So when I'm in conversations with people, I can decide where I figure what's going to benefit them the most. You know, that hangout, maybe this thing about mindset, maybe this thing about breaking through fears, unleash the alpha, unstoppable vision. What's going to be the benefit that I can leave them with? And guys, I leave it like unconditionally, just like total surrender. You know, here's something of value for you. I think it could really help you on your life path, and off to the races I go. So, okay, so what we're going to do here, guys, for today is just call it short because I am, you know, running out of power. I'm going to lose power any second, and I want to make this a clean stop here. So, guys, you've got Darren Little here with the MLM Superheroes. This was a little bit of an impromptu from the top, the rooftop in Vancouver, from the new Explosial location, guys. I'm so fired up, guys. Do you know that Explosial is going to a completely different level? Look at this. Look at this, guys. This is Vancouver, and this is going to be one of our locations in Vancouver here. Guys, do you know that I started this business with $154? And in 11 months, it turned into $130,000 cash, guys, with no paid marketing, no solo ads, no traffic, no banners, no pay-per-click, nothing. No ad campaign at all. Simple, casual connections. Simple, casual conversations. The strategies, the same strategies that Gregory Hinton used to make $4,000 in monthly residual income in 45 days, guys. He signed 4 people up today alone. Conrado Casalo, 3 weeks, $2,000 in monthly residual income. Today alone, he signed 4 people. How the heck's that possible with no paid marketing? It's possible when you learn how to use this, how to use this, how to use this thought-directed emotion that generates feeling. You can create whatever reality that you want. We cover it in the Academy of Quantum Physics Mind Mastery, and I'm telling you guys, once you partner with us, you will literally never have to worry about money again for the rest of your life. So you've got Darren Little here with the MLM Superheroes, and I look forward to meeting you in person one day, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Bye for now.